I've asked myself that question, and the more I ask the question, the more unclear the answer is. Um, but one, for starters, one wants to give it to the man upstairs for the energy, for the presence of mind, for um, the ability to do all this. I I think I just draw on my inner energy and the the drive to achieve. One, poverty scares me, so I want to do all within my powers, humanly possible, to not to fall into that bracket. But outside that, the urge to impact on the society is actually a greater pull. Well, I was born in Abeokuta, and my early days actually were like preparatory days for whatever little I'm doing today. I will always, I mean, I come from a decent family. Uh, my father was a banker and a chief. My mother was a trader, and they played their bit. But one person that was very, very impactful in terms of my artistic build up was my grandmother. She was my first love, really. Let me put it that way. Olori Adejoke Gbadebo. She was the wife of the Alake of Igbaland, of Adeshina Gbadebo. So I had the privilege of growing up. I grew up with her. I had the privilege of growing up in a traditional setting in the palace there in Ake. And it gave me the opportunity of early exposure to our tradition, our culture, our music, our dances, our dressing, our nutrition, interaction with elders, our masquerades, just name it, our drums, our dances, and all that. It gave me that opportunity. So I saw it at first hand. And unknowingly, it was building some things in me, in my subconscious. And so the other thing, I was saying now that unknowingly it was building some things in me. The other thing during that period was the fact that we had the Centenary Hall out there in Ake. And my grandmother was an arts buff, kind of. She took us to see live theater that early, in addition to having a vantage position there. And quite early, I had the privilege of seeing live on stage Hubert Ogunde, Baba Salah, Baba Mero, name it, Ogunmola, Droladipo, Ade Love, Olaya. I saw all live on stage. That was also doing its bit. In addition to this, she took us to masquerade festivals, Itoko to be specific, and we saw the masquerades, we saw the beauty, we saw the drums, we saw everything. So it wasn't a surprise to her and some others when later on in life, my choice of study at the University of Ife was dramatic arts. Let me also quickly say this. As young as I was, I had a ragtag music band made up of my peers. And
What kind of song are you
I
singing?
was going there. In house, whenever we had a ceremony, it was usually Ebenezer Obey that was invited to perform. Ebenezer Obey, Yusuf Olatunji, those two basically. So when I had that small ragtag band where we used cans and all that as our drums, it was all Ebenezer Obey's music. To add to that, my dad had a pile of Ebenezer Obey's records. To him, it was mandatory that whenever Ebenezer Obey released a record, the day he released record, we must buy it. He must eat his dinner listening to it. It's likely to be stale the following day. So it has to be that fresh. That's how he enjoyed it. So that was also in there. So all this put together uh, was was the, the 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 background was like the foundation to the Yemi Sodimu that you probably see today.
So at the time you were trying to enter the university, it was clear, you were clear in your mind that it was only that art. Or was there any, apart from all these influences, were there things that shaped your decision to study that particular art?
Hmm. Okay. Before I got to university, before I went to the University of Ife, briefly, I my first attempt was that was in 1980 to get into the University of Ibadan. I got admission there. I went to the University of Ibadan, joined the long queue, and on getting to the point where I had to register, I was told the quota was filled. Despite the fact I had my JAMB letter with me, it came by post, so it must have been delayed. Anyway, I didn't get in there that year, but I decided to. There was no, I couldn't see myself going back home to say I wasn't going because of all the merriment celebrations that led to my departure. How do I get back home and tell them no more admission? So I stayed at the university. I slept at the corridor with my bags and all that. I slept there at the corridor of the department, the theater arts department. I think it was on the second day or so. Somebody saw me there and tapped me. What are you doing here? Who was this person? It was Mr. Akin Shofoluwe, now Dr. Akin Shofoluwe. He was the programs, manager programs, NT Abeokuta, where I had led my school's choral group to perform severally at the studio. A few occasions, let me put it that way. That was Abeokuta Grammar School. So he recognized me. I told him the story and he said, so what? Why should that be the end of life? My friend, take your things and go back home and see me at the station as soon as you get back to Abeokuta. I went there. That gave me the courage now to go home. I got home, told my story, and it's okay. They saw reason with me. And I think I went to NTA on a Wednesday. I got interviewed for a job. The same day, the same job, the same interview along with Kenny Ogungbe. I did that interview on Wednesday, and I think the following Monday I started work. We actually both started work as floor managers. I guess that added to that decision. So when the following year I had to take a decision, the three options of courses, I didn't give any. I indicated the same course for the three. So there was no option of offering me any other thing. Dramaticas, dramaticas, dramaticas. That was how I got to fail. That was how I got to fail.
And what was the experience like? I guess that must have been the takeoff for you, as it were.
I almost ran away. I almost ran away. Because my expectations and my picture, initial expectations and the picture I had was a bit different from what I saw. I felt it was just going to be all practical things. We're going to be there on stage. We're going to be dancing and drumming and all that. That wasn't it.
Hmm.
That wasn't it. There was a lot of theory. There was the picture wasn't the same. So I just felt, remember, I've worked 1 year at NTA.